Hey everybody, listen, a few things I just wanted to say the past couple days. It's been coming to my mind, so I figured I better say it. You know how on all the stores and everywhere you go now, every public place says no mask, no entry? It's just a matter of time before they say no vaccine or no proof of vaccination card, no entry. Okay? So then it'll be the RFID chip or the mark of the beast. No mark, chip, whatever, mark of the beast, no entry. It's coming fast. It's starting with the mask, and then it's going to go to the vaccine, because you still have a lot of idiots out there who are going to insist that we all have to be vaccinated, otherwise they're not going to want to be around us. And, sorry, my nose is itchy. And, they're not going to trust anybody, and they're going to be like, oh, let me see your vaccine card, and if you don't have it, you have to have your mask, and they're probably going to want both, but they'll start letting us take the masks off only once we have the vaccine card. But you won't be able to buy, sell, trade, own anything, go to work, be around anybody, go to church, be in public without that vaccination card, proof of vaccination, once they force the vaccine on us. So get ready for that. And then something else crossed my mind also that I really felt I needed to say, and the other couple days ago, and I can't remember what it is now, but it was important too. It was I'll think of it later. Anyway, just heads up, I just want to get that out there because that's the next thing that's coming. So we are losing our freedoms more and more, and oh, and that's the other thing I wanted to say. If you notice on Facebook, because of the censorship thing, they're always saying, oh, fake news, or they're always putting some kind of fact checker thing on everything we post now, right? If it's a Christian post, a political post, a fact checker, right? Even if it's true, they want you to believe it's false, right? False information. Well, now it says on every political video about Trump, about the election results, about everything, because a lot of us Christians and conservatives are doing rallies and marches and prayers and all this stuff because they don't want you to know that Trump still has a legal chance of winning this election. He's still president until power is handed over and until he concedes. And he hasn't conceded yet, and I pray to God that he doesn't. There's also amendment rights that he doesn't have to concede. So Trump may not concede, and praise God if he doesn't. I'm hoping and praying that he doesn't, that he sticks in there no matter what they do. Because he's still president until the president-elect takes power, if he ever does. And we still have over at least a month or two of trials and we're still doing things. We're still getting to the bottom of this fraud. Now, Facebook keeps saying that every time we post something that shows proof that there's fraud, they're saying, oh, check your election information. It's like a fact check thing that keeps coming at the bottom of everything we post, that basically trying to say that we're saying things that are not true, like disinformation, but that's nonsense. It's actually true, and they don't want you to know that. So they keep saying Biden's president-elect, she didn't really win this election, and we know that. They're saying things like President Trump's being told to concede by his family, not true. All these things. Everything the media is saying is a lie, and I cannot believe that we cannot even... Well, we always knew we couldn't really trust the media, but now they're showing their true colors. And it's just going to get worse. I mean, we all need to boycott and just turn off the news because it's fake and it's evil, and it only highlights the worst elements of society, and it only encourages, and it is used to encourage anger and hatred towards our brother, and racial, discrimination and rioting and all that stuff. If you shut it off, like the Blessed Mother had said in one of her apparitions, that TV was evil, basically, and don't watch it because they're pumping your head with evil images, sin, lies, from the pit of hell. So don't trust the mainstream news, okay? Even with Christianity. Did you ever notice that the Bible's true, right? And anything that Christians say is true, right? What Jesus said was true, and so they say that's not true. And then everything that's true out there on YouTube or any other social media, they say it's fake news, it's fake information, it's false. But really, it's because it's true that they say that. They don't want people to know that we're talking the truth here. And they want everybody to believe what the mainstream media says, which is nothing but a pack of lies. We know that there was over 26 states involved with proven voter fraud. We know that Donald Trump was winning and did win this election, and that they're trying to steal it from him. We know this. This isn't just conspiracy theory or hopeful thinking, wishful thinking. It's the truth. We also know that we cannot trust these liberals and Democrats anymore, and that if the government is so corrupt now that they're willing to rig an election and that they will try to win at any cost. What do you think they're going to do to good people like you and I, Christians and conservatives, if they do get into power? We're in trouble. There will be persecution, and they will force you to vaccinate that COVID vaccine against your will, and if you don't, you won't be able to buy, sell, trade, go into a store, work, anything. So then after that, if the chip's not implanted in that thing, they will force a second one, and then you'll have to go everywhere and have a vaccine card, right? So we need Trump in power. We need him to not concede. We need him for at least 4 more years. Now that everything's been exposed, they do not want you to know what you know. They don't want Trump in power anymore, because what he knows for sure now as well, he can really do some damage to their New World Order agenda if he remains in power. They'll probably try to kill him. But if God wants him there, he will be there. And we still have a chance, people, that Trump can stay in power. So don't give up hope. Keep praying. The enemy, the media, the New World Order, Biden and his people, the Democrats, the liberals, all these hellbound people want us to believe that we've already lost, that it's over. So every time I post something about Trump, it keeps flagging it on Facebook and stuff and on YouTube saying, Biden's the president. No, he's not. Since when is he president when he hasn't even been, the transition of power hasn't happened yet? He's still president-elect and by a lie, by fraud. So they keep putting that out there no matter what. So every time I say something about, or every time we post a video about a Trump rally, which we're still doing rallies, and we're still doing rosary marches, and we're still doing so because it's not over. They want you to believe it's over, and they keep flagging everything as, you know, didn't you see the election results? This is false, fake information. Biden's the president-elect, and now they're calling President Trump presidential candidate. Instead of the president, he's still commander-in-chief until he hands over, till he concedes. So this is so evil, so bad, so scary right now that everything we warned you guys about, everything we Christians were preaching to you is happening, and I hope you realize that now, that the Bible is 100% true, and that what we've been saying is true. And I'm also disgusted with how corrupt the seminaries are, and these priests are teaching heresy, saying not to believe the Bible. It's more of like a guidelines and, you know, a story. I mean, I actually had some professors say that, like, and they're priests. So even the church is so corrupted now, possibly even the Pope, that it's getting to a point where these younger priests that are going to be ordained one day are going to be New World Order priests, Novus Ordo priests. They're not going to be true. They're not going to have true faith. They're not going to really believe like the traditionalists. There won't be any traditional Catholic priests anymore. There won't be any conservatives anymore. You know, like, this is really bad. That's how close we are to some major apocalyptic event, because God's getting frustrated. He's warning us through many people, many prophets. There's a lot of false prophets out there. That's why I don't claim to be a prophet, but let me tell you, I've seen a lot of stuff, and I know I'm right. But I'm not going to ever take that title because, God forbid, I'm wrong. But I'll tell you this much. I've been saying that this stuff was coming, and it's happening so fast, and the Bible also said that if you don't have the Holy Spirit, you will be blinded, spiritually blinded. I don't know if I said this in another video or not, but I think the Lord kind of put it on my mind as to why so many people are so blind to the truth of what's really going on, and why do they buy into the media and to the, you know, why do they buy into these lies? Why don't they realize what we Christians realize? Even a lot of Christians are like, nah, we're not in the end times. Oh, come on, it's conspiracy. They don't really believe, right? Some of them don't even believe in hell, right? So I asked God, why are they so dumb? Were they like born stupid, or were they dropped on their head as an infant? And what I got in my spirit was, You know how when you have bad breath, you don't smell your own breath, but everybody else is like, oh, God, that's bad. And you're like, what? I mean, you can't use... Well, it's like spiritually blind, non-Christians, atheists, idiots, people who don't have Christ, the fake Christians and the atheists and all these people, they're blinded, right? They can't even see how blind they are. Just like you can't smell your own breath, they can't see how wicked they are, how evil, how off course they are. They're like almost intentionally blinded, not only by Satan, but by God, because unless you come to Christ and say, Lord, have mercy on me, save me, I want you to come into my heart, and you start obeying him and living as a real Christian, which is radical and traditional and conservative, you have no idea. You have to be a saint. You can't just say, oh, I'm a Christian, I go to church on Sunday, yeah, I know the Bible. No, you need to live it. I mean, I can preach like there's no tomorrow, but if I'm not practicing what I preach, I'm a hypocrite, and I'm going to go to hell. Even if I get 1,000 people to Jesus and they go to heaven, just like St. Paul said, he might not even make it if he screws up, So it's like, we can't afford to mess this up right now, and we're running out of time. So get ready for the forced vaccinations eventually, or the vaccine card coming in 2021. And if you don't have that, it's pretty much like the mark of the beast. You won't be able to buy, sell, or trade. And then even if that's not the mark of the beast, they're getting you ready, because the next step will be that mark. Cashless society, you're going to need a chip or something in your hand or whatever, or forehead, so that you don't need cash anymore, and you don't need credit cards or IDs or anything. It's all going to be on there, and it's going to be unique, so nobody can rob you anymore. You don't have to worry about losing anything unless your hand falls off, right? But if you don't, this is where we're headed. And they need to do that also to crash the economy, have a socialized communist Marxist government, right? And that means the only way to make everybody equal is to basically, everybody has that chip. Everybody has the mark of the beast. Everybody has this one form of currency. And then the government will give you, like on welfare, we'll all be on a form of welfare where we get like stipends and stuff to live on. And we already see this happening in other countries, and it doesn't work. These people are not happy. They're slaves. They're miserable. They're being killed. They have no rights or freedoms. This is why Jesus said, do not take that mark. You will not belong to him any longer. You'll belong to the devil and his system. And I'm really getting fed up at this point, as much as I've proved to people, and many of us have proved over the years that the Bible's accurate, it's true, it's reliable, that there is a hell, there is a heaven, there is a devil, there is a Christ. People still don't want to believe in hell. They still don't want to believe in the devil. They don't want to believe in the New World Order. It's so frustrating. And that's a temptation to us who preach and evangelize, us who are really in Christ, that we might be led to give into the temptation to hate others, or to become racist or angry, and these are all sins. So you got to be careful, because we can have a righteous anger about sin and what's going on in the world, but we got to make sure we don't hate the sinners. And there's so many more sinners out there than there are saints. We also have to not fall into the trap of racism, just because you might see a lot more black people doing bad stuff to us, or vice versa. You gotta watch carefully, guys. Like, we are being tested now. This is a time of testing where you have got to be a true Catholic Christian. And you have to go back to tradition and conservative, no matter what the church. Eventually, we know there's going to be a great apostasy in the church. If you know the Bible, you know that's coming. And eventually, there's going to be, a major exodus, a great falling away of the church. And there will be a remnant faithful. And so you got to make sure you're part of that remnant faithful. I don't care if you're in seminary right now. I don't care where your status is within the church or your faith. You stick to that Bible. You better pray to Jesus Christ every day. Have a personal relationship. Don't say, oh, you can't have a personal. I have one. He shows me amazing things. He saved my life from impossible situations. I have prayed over people and they've come out of comas. People have been healed of cancer. I'm not doing it. He's doing it. With the Blessed Mother's help. I've seen her too. So, like I said, I'm not special. I'm not a prophet. I don't know what I am. I just know I am unique. I'm different. Most people don't believe me. That's fine. I don't care. I don't have to prove anything to you guys. What I'm saying is, I know that this is true. And I know we're in trouble. And I know things are escalating at a very fast rate. Remember, the Lord said if you didn't rush in the end times, if you didn't speed things up, even the very elect, which is you and I, the remnant faithful, would be lost. So this is not a game. So if you are in seminary, do not compromise. Leave if you have to. If you feel like something's wrong and they're going down the wrong road, go to another seminary, go to another order, or it'd be better that you don't go to hell with the apostates than stay there and, and try to tough it out, because you might end up getting brainwashed or compromising. The other thing is, if you want to wait till you're ordained, then make sure that once you're ordained, you're going to be up for a hell of a fight, and you're going to have to be a true priest. You had better be a traditional and turn this ship around. If you're not holy and you want to be a priest or a religious or a brother, you're going to go to hell first before any lay person does, because you should know better. You're representing Christ. You're living in his church. You can't mess up. So I'm telling you right now, I'm not trying to scare people. I mean, I wish I was still in seminary, but unfortunately that seminary proved, and God showed me this, that they are very progressive and modernizing and, LGBT, gay marriage friendly, and they're the New World Order type of, they're going down the wrong road. And that's why they hated and persecuted me while I was there, because I didn't compromise. They didn't like the way I prayed. They didn't like that I wear the miraculous medal and the brown scapula and the green scapula and I pray the rosary. They don't like that I handed out Mary and, sacramentals on Christmas. They didn't like that I was, I guess, too holy, they told me, too pious. I've gone through all this already. The point is, I didn't do anything wrong there. I didn't. I loved everybody. I respected everybody. You can come through. You're not on my video. Donna doesn't want to be on video right now. I think she's probably scared that they're going to come after her and kill her when they round me up one day. Seriously, she thinks that. But anyway, I don't care. If I get martyred for speaking the truth, it's going to happen, guys, sooner or later. The persecution's starting. Why do you think they shut churches down first with COVID? Why do you think that Christians are always public enemy number one all the time when it comes to election processes and this and that? Because we have the truth, and we will not compromise. And we're a force to be reckoned with, and Satan knows that if we're in the state of grace and we have Christ and his mother on our side, nobody can do anything to us that God doesn't allow. Because it's not just us fighting for us. We're like little David and Goliath. We got Jesus standing behind us and going before us. So we are a serious threat to the powers of darkness and their agenda. They want to cull society. They want to destroy the population and bring it down from 7.6 billion down to what, a billion people or something. I mean, they have disgusting plans that I know about, that I've been studying for 20 years. All right? And not just me. A lot of us know about the New World Order agenda, the Georgia Guidestones. These are not conspiracy theories. Think about this. If the Bible's true, and you know that a lot of those stories seem to be hard to believe, but they're true. Well, if God exists, and hell exists, and the devil exists, then what makes you think that everything you think is a conspiracy isn't actually true? What if there are angels, but they happen to really be demons from this earth, from hell, but they just happen to use, equipment to fly around, that's a possibility. I happen to believe that that's true. I've seen UFOs. I know they exist. My father was a cop. He reported them. He's had video footage of it. I mean, we know they exist, but they're not from another planet. They're from here. Enough with the alien thing. Who cares about that? The point is, there are things that you might not believe or want to believe. But listen, you better start believing in Bible stories, because you're in one. And the Bible didn't end. It continued on after Revelation, because we are the continuation. They told you what was going to happen, but we're still in it. So you're kind of reading, but you're living it as it's happening. It's amazing how God is, because he's in the past, present, and future all at the same time. Only he can do that. And so you got to realize that what you think is conspiracy or fake is not. It's true. And you might not want to believe it because it's scary. But yeah, the world you live in is not the world that you think. So again, you need Jesus, and you'd better take it seriously. And if you're going to be a religious or a priest, you better be a real one. You better love that rosary. You better pray constantly. You better really, really get on your game and be a saint. You need to be holy. Otherwise, don't do it, because priests and nuns fall into hell like black snowflakes every day, by the millions. So, and the Blessed Mother even said that. Woe be to you and I who know better and still don't do what we're supposed to do, right? So remember that. And as far as you lay people, you guys aren't doing your job. I am so tired of seeing pew-warming Christians and Catholics going to church all the time, maybe a couple times a week on Sunday, but they're too scared to preach and evangelize like I do. They don't want to lose anything. They don't want to offend anybody. This political correctness garbage. There is no political correctness. You need to be radical if you're a Christian like Jesus. Some people are going to call you a terrorist. You're not a terrorist. We don't fight with weapons. We fight with prayer. I don't need a weapon. God does what he needs to do in my life. I don't need to. I just go to my Heavenly Father and he handles it. So, just be genuine is what I'm saying. This thing's already going a lot longer than I expected. But, if you missed the first part of it, go back when I post this video and watch it. But it's very important. It was a lot of things I've been getting enlightening. A lot of things have just been clicking and making sense real fast. And I'm sure other people are noticing the same thing. Maybe not. So just in case, I put it out there. Also pray for me, especially my brothers and stuff. I see some of you guys watching from seminary. I miss it there. I don't miss some of the people there who made my life a living hell the entire 5.5 months I was there. But there are some brothers like Jonathan and, a couple other people that I really love. Hubert, Michael, I liked Father Dewey when he wanted to be on my side. A lot of times he was playing devil's advocate. And he worked for the other guy, so he couldn't trust him. But, I miss some of my professors. I missed it. That was like my home. Like, I was only there for 5 months, but I felt like I was there for 5 years, And it's just a darn shame that because I was too traditional or pious or holy or whatever, too conservative, too rigid, they kept saying too rigid, I was run out of there. Drove me insane, had heart problems, sleep deprivation. I mean, it was terrible. I had to leave. I would have died if I had stayed there any longer, if they didn't stop harassing, and they would not stop harassing. So I left. And I ended up homeless on the street, and then I ended up moving in with my friend Donna here. Praise God for a good Christian friend. She's like a mother to me. She's the only person I have left in life. My family, they said if I sold my home and went to seminary, never come back, because that's it. They're dead. I'm dead to them. Don't do this. They warned me, and I did it. And now they literally put me in a homeless shelter. They said, go kill yourself, whatever, go die in the street. They won't help me at all. They don't want. I can't even see them. They only live right up the street. I'm not allowed over there. It's sad. But you know what? I'm realizing that when you ask God for something, when I was 26 years old, I asked him to use me like he did St. Paul. I said, turn me from a Saul to a Paul. And I also said, I want to be like little David, use me like David, David who killed Goliath. And I also said, Lord, like Jacob from the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, that story of Jacob. Joseph, sorry, not Jacob, Joseph. And you know what I'm realizing now, all these years later? When I'm complaining that my family has abandoned me and I have no one and sometimes nowhere to lay my head, that I'm suffering greatly, being persecuted all the time for my faith, I'm realizing God answered those prayers. So when you ask God something, be careful, because he will give you what you ask for. Because he's always looking for a good saint, somebody to carry this on. We need new apostles and disciples down here. We need saints. We need good priests. We need people to be good example by example, word and deed, who are actually really living this. And so I understand what Paul went through and what Jesus himself went through when, a prophet's not welcome in their own hometown. Your own family will be your own enemies. They'll turn you in. Everything that's in the Bible is happening to me. I was in seminary. I thought I'd be safe with like-minded, like-hearted people. But no, they were not like-minded and like-hearted. I mean, I had superiors there who don't even have faith in Christ, who believe that the Eucharist is just a symbol, like a Protestant, and not the real body, blood, soul, and divinity. I had one formator tell me, Father Joseph, that, he doesn't even believe really in God. And I said, well, then why are you a priest and a formator? And he said, just in case. Literally. Now, what was I supposed to learn? I don't mean to be proud here, but I gotta be honest. God has given me more wisdom and experience than some of these priests and formators have ever have. I've had more life experience in 40 years of being in the world, and I've done and seen amazing things, traveled the world. I'm cultured. I've been through a lot of loss, death, suffering, demonic attacks. I mean, I've seen some things in this world. And so I have very strong faith for a reason, because I know it's real. And for me to have a superior over me that's close to my age, two of them, didn't like me because I was too close to their age. One of them told me, Father Dewey said, if things were different and we were, you weren't under me, we would probably be good friends. But because I'm your, superior, we can't be. It's just a shame, and I would have been a really good priest, real good priest. But they did everything they could to stop it. They did not want me there. They made it so clear. So I have been discerning with many other orders ever since I left. Still battling health issues. My age is working against me. Most of them stop accepting people between 35 and 40 is usually a definite cutoff. Some cloisters were interested in me, but that's too much for me. I mean, I'll do it if God really wants and there's nobody else takes me, because I still want to be a priest, or at least a brother at this point. But, I don't want to be in a Cistercian order, but those are the only ones that are interested in me. And interested in my stories, and then there's one other diocese left that, not a diocese, well, they do diocesan priests, but I'm not going to say what it is, but there's one more I'm still discerning with right now. Out of 66, all of them closed the doors to me after talking to the seminary. So whatever the priest of the Sacred Heart Seminary and those formators are telling people about me, they better stop before I sue the pants off of you guys for slander and defamation of character. I'm not playing around. You are messing with my life, my vocation. I work for God, not for you. I am not part of your order anymore. I am not affiliated with your school anymore, even though I proudly wear my sweater, which I had to pay a lot of money for, and because it's really comfortable and I don't have many clothes, it's the only one that fits. But, in my mind, I'm still a seminarian. I went there for God and His mother. They sent me there. And if you don't believe that, whatever. They sent me there. I was supposed to be there. There was a reason for me to be there. But Satan, he couldn't have me there. It was messing up everything if I were to be there. So I left, and I'm regretting that now. I should have fought, because if I was going to end up on the street anyway, I should have just fought. I had nothing else to lose at that point. But you know what? I'm realizing now that as time is going by, and I'm learning that this is very common to a lot of seminaries, I didn't belong there with those people. I got nothing in common with most of the people in that order. I hate to say it, but I'm too close to God, got too much experience. I have a bigger mission, and I was too genuine. I really was. I was too serious. I really took that seriously to be a priest. I was so happy to be there, to be a priest, to be working towards the priesthood. And I found myself with a bunch of people who, some of them told me they were only there until they're close to ordination, then they're going to leave after they get their master's degree. Some of them told me, because they were from other countries, that they were only there for the beautiful, food and lavish luxury living and free education. Those are the wrong reasons. That's stealing from God and His church. Those are the wrong reasons to be there. Shame on you. You're the kind of priest that causes like pedophilia and problems in the, some of them are alcoholics in that order, and they get pushed through the system. They can do no wrong by the superiors. Some of them are chain smokers, masturbators. I mean, I know a lot of dirt on you guys. Okay, I was one of you. I was there. And it makes me sick that I was a straight arrow there. I was really trying my best to do everything in holiness, and you guys hated me. And I didn't push my ways on you. I kept quiet. I kept to myself. I just wanted to live and let live and be left alone, to go to school and be ordained and be a priest, a holy priest and a saint for God. Because the church needs people like me. And I'm there with a bunch of, I felt like I was at the island of misfit toys or something, with a bunch of freaking losers who, don't have real faith, who have no holiness, who have different agendas, Some of them were obviously gay and hooking up in their rooms with their friends until they got kicked out. And now they're, in second vows already. I know a lot of stuff that went on there, and I'm disgusted. And I hear it happens at a lot of seminaries. So we are in the end times. This is impossible. I might never be able to be a priest, and that's really unfortunate because, I would have been a good one. And so, I don't know. I don't think it's over yet. Just like I don't think this presidency with Trump is over yet. But whatever happens, it's in God's hands. I commended myself to him, and so be it. As long as he's happy, then I'll be safe and happy, and that's fine. But I'm not giving up yet. It's just going to be real hard. And he provided a huge miracle to get me in seminary the last time. Huge miracle. I could do a whole video on just the things that he had to do that were total miracles in order for me to even get in there on time to start school in August. So he'll do it again. Either way, I'm sticking close to Jesus and his mother. I'm still preaching. The good thing is I'm also realizing that I have freedom to preach and write amazing sermons that I'm reaching thousands and thousands of people a day. When I was in that seminary, I was told to be quiet. Nobody liked my sermons that I wrote when it was time for student preaching, which there was nothing wrong with them because I'm saying the same thing that some of the greatest priests that we have, public speaking priests, are saying the same exact thing. Okay? And yet, I was told even by the homiletics instructor, you don't want to say that. You got to tone it down. Shut up. You sell out. You bunch of, I can't even say the P-U-S-S-Y. Okay? Really, grow a pair. Okay? Because if you're going to be a Christian and a priest or a deacon, you need to be brave. You need to tell it like it is and stop with the garbage. Stop with the BS. Tell them what they need to know to keep their souls out of eternal fires from hell. Alright? Don't sit there and be politically correct or, God is love, God is... Yes, he's all that. But he will fry you real quick if you don't leave him any other choice. So you people better stop sinning. You better be real religious or get out. The seminaries are full of people who do not belong there. And the few of us who had every right to be there, who take it seriously, who are willing to die for it, we get run out of town, mistreated. But you know what? Woe be to you guys who did that to me. Because the Lord made it very clear in the Bible, blessed are you who are persecuted for his name's sake. It was because I was trying to appease God and his mother that I was tormented day and night there. So, good for me, bad for you guys. But hey, not a problem. Because even if I don't become a priest or a religious, I will die a saint. If it's God willing, I am going to try like heck to die a saint one day and do as much as I can. And so ever since I got out of that seminary, my life has been full of sufferings. You have no idea how bad it is to have no support, no family, no friends, no money, poor health, kicked out during a pandemic, after you gave up everything to follow the Lord and go to seminary, to have your dream, dream I had for 40 years, snatched out of my hand by a bunch of unbelieving hypocrites, evil men in that seminary. I'm fine. Water under the bridge. God's going to deal with you. I already know it. You think you're going to get away with it? You better hope you at least get to purgatory. And you'll probably be there till the end of time. Shame on you who are priests and superiors doing that to somebody. You have no idea what you've done. And I could just say, forgive them, Father, they know not what they've done. We move on. No big deal. God will take care of me. He has been in miraculous ways. I offer up my suffering for those people and for my family and others who don't know the Lord. I'm not wasting any of this. I just want to go to heaven when I die, and I want to lead as many souls to Christ as I can, and I've been able to do that a lot more now that I'm out of that seminary and not restricted, told what I can and can't say, not so busy with a million classes and all this nonsense that I wasn't able to even preach. Right now, people need people like me out there to preach to them and encourage and build up the faithful. And because we're at war and we're running out of time. I'm doing more for society out here than I would in that seminary. Now that's a fact. I was so busy with school and book reports and writing 30-page papers and dealing with harassment from everybody, I didn't have time to even pray the way I do now, the way I've always did. You know, I thought that when I got to live in a seminary monastery, I was going to have more time for Christ, more time to pray, but they don't let you. They don't let you have any time until like after 8 o'clock at night, and then you're stuck up until 2 in the morning reading 30 books and trying to get your homework done and doing this 6 days a week, 5-6 days a week. I mean, it's like you have no time to yourself to even use the bathroom or take a nap when you need to. And God forbid you get sick. Like I had the flu for a couple of days. I mean, oh gosh, it was like you would think I killed somebody. The formators were so upset. Oh, you missed some school. Give me a break. Give me a break. I'm not 20 years old, okay? I'm a 40-year-old grown man. I lived on my own for years. I've been out there. I've seen some... Don't talk to me like I'm some stupid high school kid that just doesn't know anything about life and just came to seminary and, you know, no. And that's why they didn't like older guys like me, because they said we're unformable and too traditional and too set in our ways. No, I'm formable, but I'm not going to compromise and form myself to something that's going to go to hell. I'm going to keep what I know is true. Be willing, be open-minded, but at the end of the day, you're not my judge. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the Pope. You're not my judge. God's my judge. I'm here to serve Him. I'm here to be a priest for Him. I work for Him. So you don't forget that, Father Joseph. Oh, I'm a therapist. I was trained in Rome. You're a therapist, honey? You need a therapist. Man, I mean, please don't get me started. I just came out of confession. Sorry, Lord. I don't want to slander and detract. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But you know what? I want to... I still have to forgive him. I'm trying. I say I forgive him, but then just the very thought of what he said to me all those months. And the terrible things. I mean, he has no right to be a formator or a priest. And neither does Father Dewey. I mean, he needs to really grow up and mature. But, okay, fine. You know what? Now I see why they didn't like it. You can't have 3 roosters in the hen house, apparently, and I was rooster number 3, and they weren't going to have it. So they also said I was constantly undermining everything they were trying to do. I just had questions. I mean, I had the right to ask questions, to learn. Why are you teaching them false things? Why are we doing things we shouldn't be doing, especially in a seminary monastery? Like celebrating Halloween and having bubbling cauldrons and spell books and skulls and demonic little girl dolls and all kinds of terrible things. And my formator dressing up like a insane, clown, demonic clown with fangs. I mean, you're a priest. You need to be holy. So, what? I'm the bad guy, because, I had a problem with that. Oh, okay. I'm sure Jesus is not going to be too happy with you on Judgment Day when he finds out you defiled his seminary. But, hey, that's between you and him. I'm not your judge. I just warn you. Anyway, I'm going to get going now, because I still got to cook dinner, and it's almost 10 o'clock at night. But I just had a lot to say that I've been trying not to make long videos. But, guys, listen. We're in some dark times on planet Earth, and it ain't going to get any better. You need to know that. Now is the time to be tested, to see what you're really made of, if you're really on Christ's side, or if you're just a wolf in sheep's clothing. Do not be found a goat or a wolf, because you will burn. And if you are one, you better get yourself together and start being a real Christian now, or don't bother, because this is not a game. It's not a game, and if you're not ready for what's coming, you will buckle, and you will lose your soul as soon as somebody puts a gun to your head or threatens you with losing everything or wants to throw you in a FEMA camp or jail for your faith. You're going to concede, and you're going to lose your soul. You're going to deny Christ. You're going to compromise, and you're going to go to hell. So you need to be ready, and you better pray every day that God gives you the strength and courage to be willing to even die if that's what's necessary for your soul and for the souls of many who are looking at you and counting on you and your example to lead them to the true Jesus Christ so they can go to heaven. Because God doesn't care about our lives and comfort down here. He cares about our soul. He created these souls which do not belong to us to be in heaven with Him for eternity. And if we do not make it there, that's our fault. But it's also really, really hurts God because He doesn't want to lose His children. But he gave us free will, and we abuse it. So, again, you better take your Catholicism and your Christianity very seriously. You better pray more. If that's not the right order or seminary for you, get out and go somewhere before it gets too late in your life and you can't go somewhere else. Because the older you get, the harder it is. Then nobody wants you. If you have health issues like me, or you're 40 years old like me, nobody wants you. And if you have a seminary who's bad-mouthing you all the time, when they are the ones who should literally be defrocked and sued, I should sue that seminary for what they did to me. Because they literally almost killed me a couple times. There's so much I would love to tell you guys, but I can't. For legal reasons, and just because I just don't want another scandal in the church right now. We're under enough attack, and I'm not gonna be that guy who causes another scandal. So for Christ's sake, because I love Christ and it's still his church, I'm really not doing what I was advised to do, and I'm keeping my mouth shut. And you know what? Because I know that God will handle it. He said, "Vengeance is mine," declares the Lord. So it's not for me. He will pay everybody back. And I also have to forgive everybody because I'm a sinner too. And if I don't forgive, then he will not forgive me. That's pretty clear too. So for my own soul's sake, I have to live and let bygones be bygones, forgive and move on and trust God that he's got a better plan. He's got a plan B for me. And no matter what happens, he's in charge. And love everybody, even my enemies there. And forgive everybody, and that's it. Then I don't have to worry about it. But I need prayer, guys. I need prayer for health. I need prayer for finances. I need prayer that I can continue on with my vocation. That these few bad apples did not ruin my entire future and God's plan for my life. Although we have a mighty God, a very powerful God who already saw this coming. So it's all probably part of the plan and part of the mission. And you know what? Nobody can go up against him. So he's got it covered. He'll take care of it somehow. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm just hurt. But at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of good. There's a lot of good that came out of me not being in that seminary. I think it was time to get out of there. I knew that God sent me there for a reason, to see what was going on, to see how bad it really is, to see how advanced we are in this New World agenda. How bad Satan has gotten into the seminaries. He dances on the rooftops of seminaries. I just could not believe my eyes and what I had to deal with. What happened to me, a good guy. I didn't deserve it, and I'm not the only one. So I know that God sent me there with a very clear warning message to everybody there. You had better become traditional. You better start wearing those habits. You better love that collar. You better start wearing your collars and your habits again. Like Father Dahon, he would roll in his grave if he knew what you did to the Dahonian order. You are too worldly. You look so much like the world, nobody even knows your priests and brothers. It's disgusting. We don't need that anymore. If you want to do that, go be a Protestant. Otherwise, how dare you not want to revere that Roman collar and that cassock? You should wear it with pride, holy pride. And fear of the Lord, because you work for him and represent him. And you're failing, guys. You're failing. You're too busy with your lavish food and your comfy bedrooms and your let's go on trips and let's go to Halloween Horror Nights and walk around. What was that? You took us on a trip. We all had to go. And we went to this haunted trail thing, which it was really not a place for a group of priests and seminarians to be going to that diabolical garbage. But these are the things. Oh, and let's force everybody to watch TV every night. And let's force them to watch a half hour of fake news when we could be studying or resting. Oh, no, we have to do everything as a community. You know what? Shame on you. You guys are not good formators, Father Joseph, Father Dewey. You really stink. I would have spun circles around you, and I'm not even a priest. You let me come back there and be a formator. You watch. I will get these guys in shape. There's not going to be any more screwing around. You will be real priests. So I just hope to become ordained one day where I will do whatever I can, if it kills me, to get this church back on track. So I want God and his mother to raise up an army of real priests and real brothers and real nuns. None of this worldly garbage that's, oh, I'm gay, oh, I'm this, oh, yeah. Grow up. grow up. And you know what? I don't even care if you're gay, but you better not screw up. If you're gay and you're going to be a priest or a nun, you would better not screw up. You shouldn't even be in there, but if you are, fine. You better be holy. You would better be holy. God help you. I'm not kidding. You have no idea, because you're about to find out what hell's all about if you screw up. So, warning to the wise. Don't touch any children. Don't touch each other. Focus on Christ and be holy, or get out. We don't need you in the church. We don't need any more McCarricks in the future. We need real Christians to navigate this church, who are willing to shed their blood for it. Not these pansies that we have in half these seminaries. So, you know what? I don't want to be there anymore. I don't miss it that much. I miss some aspects of it. I miss being close to God. I miss those nights where I'd fall asleep prostrate on my face in one of the, like in that basement in the Immaculate Heart Chapel, or, you know, in the main chapel, or even in our little St. Joseph's Chapel. I would go there in the dark and I'd just spend time with the Lord. And he helped me write my sermons for student preaching. And they were good, and then people criticized them. That came from God. Or some of my classes, I couldn't even read the books because I was overloaded. And we had tests to pass. And I couldn't take the tests if I didn't study and read the books. So I prayed the rosary, or I'd sit in front of the tabernacle and I'd ask God, help me pass this test. And I got A's on every one of my tests. And I didn't even look at the book once. That's God. That's God. So let me tell you something. When God is with you and for you, even if people come against you, you'll be okay. He got me through. And then when it was time for me to go, he told me to go. And I left. So I just missed that time living in a church. We had 3 chapels, 3 tabernacles that I can visit anytime. And I would spend hours between 12 and 3 in the morning by myself. Everybody else was sleeping or whatever they were doing. And I was alone, sometimes in the basement with the Lord in that chapel. I missed that. I really, really loved being able to do that and hear from him and spend time with him when nobody else even visited him. Nobody else really took it seriously. I would bow and you know, genuflect and do the sign of the cross every time I walked by one of those chapels. Because that's the Lord in there. You people take it for granted. You take it for granted, you ungrateful people, that you're living in a church, a seminary, a monastery with the Lord. You are under his roof. And you don't even appreciate it. You don't even realize how awesome that is. And the one guy in the order, or probably the whole seminary, who really loved and appreciated it, you abused and ran out of there. And made lies and slandered. You guys lied about me. They created stories about me to make me look like a bad guy so I can get kicked out. Why would you do that to me? Why? I know why. Because you're evil. You don't have Christ. You would never. If you're going to do that to another seminarian, another Catholic brother in Christ, how am I supposed to believe that you're not going to do that to someone on the street? Someone you don't even know. Iron's supposed to sharpen iron, not destroy each other. We're supposed to be there for one another. We're the brotherhood of Christ. We're a family. And you treat me like that for no reason? You know what? God help you. I forgive you all. But you ruined my life. You really did. You hurt me for no reason. But I hope you're all happy. I hope that the rest of you guys that still are remaining in that order, I hope they don't brainwash you into these new age satanic priest cronies. I hope you get out in time. Or I hope you get new formators and traditional conservative ones that will turn that order around and get you back on track. Because God help you guys. God have mercy on your souls. If you do not, return to Christ and his mother. Start loving Mary. She's the queen of the clergy. She's going to crush Satan's head in the end. That's why they don't like her. They don't want you to have a devotion to her. I'm consecrated to her. I was consecrated to her into the Sacred Heart. And you destroyed me. You hated me and you ran me out of there. You should have learned from me. You should have been nicer to me. You should have loved me and appreciated me. If you couldn't love me, and I'm not that hard to get along with, then I don't know how you're going to love God or your enemy. Because that is also required of all of us. To love even Hitler. Because that's a commandment. Love the sinner, not the sin. And you guys can't even do that? Oh well, if these are the priests of the future, I hate to be here for that future. I hate to see the future of this church. Please, God, please take over the hearts of these people in these seminaries and make true God-fearing, God-loving, traditional, conservative Catholic priests, because this church needs them. We have enough gay homos who want to make gay marriage okay and who want to go out there and hook up and rape altar boys. We don't need that anymore. What we need is real men of God. Real men and women of God. Men who are like Christ and women who are like the Blessed Mother. That's what this church needs. And God help you if you don't become that. So, God bless everybody. Have a good night. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And go serve your king.